Hello, everybody. Oh, there we go. Now we're good. Oh, you know what? Today, I hopefully I'm not like too super loud. I messed with my audio settings recently, but I think we're okay. Welcome to the D-pad. I'm Rick. This is our final Patreon-ish hangout of the year. Did it do the beep thing already? Oh my god. Audio sounds normal. Oh shit. Okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on here. Uh, is it still beeping? Oh, I think I just saw one in my waveform. Not at the moment? Okay. Let me know if another one happens. I've just closed a lot of stuff. So I think part of the reason I had mentioned on the Discord that I went to record today's Saturn Return at like 6 o'clock. I was like, maybe I can squeeze this in. And I go to record, and near the end of the video, after about 28 minutes of recording, I look over and see the audio stopped. It has system overload on the MacBook, which usually happens because my browser is using up too many things in the computer. And I'm like, maybe I didn't lose too much. I wrap up the episode, and then I go look, and I sync things up, and I realize that the audio cuts out approximately 20 seconds after I start properly playing the game, and I notice about 20 seconds after I stop playing the game, and the game takes over again. So pretty much the entirety of the actual gameplay experience got lost audio wise. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that's not gonna be how this episode winds up working. I'm gonna cool down the light above me just a little bit. It's a little bit blowing me out a little bit. So that was fun. And part of the reason that happened, I suspect, is I'm in the midst of switching both my PC and my MacBook over to WaterFox for browser stuff, since Firefox is now going. Apparently is trying to go all in. See, that's maybe a little bit. I don't know. This is fine. This is fun. Firefox's CEO is like, oh yeah, let's do a bunch of AI. AI is going to be in everything, and they've been slowly pushing it for the last 6 months, pushing it more and more. You have to go and manually deselect options and things, and finally the CEO is like, yep, we're not going to stop. It's going to keep being AI, and it's like, all right, well then I'm leaving. So I've been switching over to WaterFox, but what that means right now is on my MacBook, I have both a lot of Google Chrome windows and tabs open, and WaterFox, where I'm slowly starting to transition over to there. So both browsers are running, and that's taking up a lot of memory. On the PC, it's still Firefox. I haven't started switching over there yet, but I figure I might start this weekend. Far fewer tabs and things open on that side, so hopefully that won't be an issue or anything. But actually, let me pull this open over here just in case. I want to make sure that I'm keeping an eye out in case anything happens with like the video stream or any of that stuff. Oh, of course I am. Of course I am. I have a do I still have it open on here? It might be on the MacBook. I have a window on, I guess, the MacBook that has probably about 80 tabs just for one project, because I'm trying to hunt down a bit of information pertaining to the big video, and I wanted to keep as much information about it handy while I was doing that to assist. And so it's just a wall of tabs over there. But yeah. Um, relatedly, I suppose, only tangentially, relatedly in the fact that it's two video things that have been on my mind and all of that lately. But I had been talking for a while now, actually, about half the year, about doing a video kind of examining and trying to dissect whatever the hell is going on with Alex Yard. And I think I'm mostly abandoning that video. There will still be something, but I don't even know if I'm gonna. There was a point where he had agreed to essentially being interviewed on a live stream. I guess he was talking about doing it during his own live stream, but I figured not that I need to ask his permission, but I was going to live stream my side of it as well, just so that I could have automatically downloaded and held on to footage, so that I could provide that and show, that I'm not, maliciously editing anything or whatever. But like the more time has passed, the more I've been kind of like, man, who fucking cares? Not like, we should all move on. The exact opposite, like, not like, oh, we should move on from this shit that he's been doing, and more like, we should move on from him. He's gone back to making, like, weird, all right, here's my weird bait video yelling about Reggie Fils-Aimé, who has not been relevant to Nintendo in, what, a decade almost? Like, that's not true. It's not a full decade, but years at this point. And just like, man, I'm just not interested in wasting my time on it anymore. I've spent too much thought. It's been too much of a distraction from a video that I must complete. And I don't know. There will be some kind of video. On the one hand, it's very funny because there's a part of me that's like, man, he's giving you access to just like do an interview with him. You could fucking nail him in an interview / debate format. Like it would not be difficult to pin the guy down on some really troubling things that have been going on. But it just feels like, man, why am I fucking wasting my time with this shit? Which is so funny because his main channel is bigger than ours. It's like 2.5 times our size. But like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it. And like, hilariously, it's like I play, every couple of weeks I play Mario Party with people who are more significant than this guy. So I shouldn't be fucking burning brain cells trying to point and go like, look at this guy, he's a dick, right? Like, yeah, no shit, he's a dick. I don't know. Yeah, and it's like, it's frustrating because it's like the goal at the outset wasn't to cancel him. It was to kind of like, I don't know, research and sort of genuinely I was trying to understand what was going on, because at first I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Now I do know what the fuck is happening. And it is simultaneously both not interesting in the sense that it's just some piece of shit who's decided to reveal what a piece of shit he is. And it's like sad. It's a very desperate state of things over there. Even speaking as someone in some ways, and I hate to do like the we're not so different, you and I type thing, but like there's parallels to certain aspects of like the trajectory, I guess, of his channel and ours, in the sense that like I think the ebb and flow on his side is certainly more extreme than ours, but like his Patreon is at the lowest it's been since he opened it, which is not quite the case with ours, but ours is also still doing fine. I'm also fortunate enough at this point to have a job that pays me very well. Finally, I spent 2 years with that not being the case, and Patreon was very literally paying for me to get by and keep the channel moving. But like, I don't know, his numbers are like spiraling. The company he keeps or the company he kept has mostly abandoned him. The company he keeps nowadays are either the like, I don't know, half a dozen diehard fans that are still kicking around, and unfortunately, the toxic weirdo incel type fucking crowd that is just itching to find people to hate and target and harass and that sort of thing. And the irony of this is it's not really giving him much of a bump. He did a video on, I didn't even watch it. I'm like so uninterested in hearing his voice at this point. He did a video on the completionist Gerard Khalil and his response video. I don't really know what to call the video. I'm kind of hanging and watching to see how things kind of fall from there. But like, he did a video on that. I haven't watched it. There's like 1,000. He got like 1,000 views on it, which is by far the most views he's got on anything in months. But again, it's just like, it's just so to explain. So to Jake, well, for one, if anyone's not familiar, Alex Yard was a music theory YouTuber, a video game music theory YouTuber. He kind of got started like he had his channel for a little while. I don't know if he has a degree in music theory, but he did go to school for something, and he's been doing music stuff for a while. Sorry, yeah. I usually try to say Alex Yard in full anyway, just because, I don't know. I'm not even entirely sure if that's his real name. I don't know how much that's come up lately, but he implied at one point that it's not his real name, which is fine. There are tons of people who use aliases, but I don't know. There's just something very odd about it to me. I don't know. Again, I don't know why. There's lots of people. I think because most people don't create aliases that are just another name, like first and last name. So I don't really know there, but yeah, he had a few years where he wasn't making a ton of content. His content was like vlogs. This is the weirdest part. Actually, I'm going to throw an asterisk real quick. We'll come back to this part because it's the strangest, maybe one of the strangest parts of the whole thing. But about 5.5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, he started making video game music theory videos. He went through primarily Sonic games to start with, which I think smart move. It's Sonic music is very popular, and it's a short enough loop and a complex enough loop that there's a lot of meat on the bone that you can really chew into and do a music theory analysis of those tracks. So he did this, for several years. Occasionally he'd dip into more essay-like content, which is fine. I don't have any issue with that. Far be it from me to criticize anybody else for trying out different formats and genres. But about a little over a year ago now, I think it was November of 2024, he came out with a video after posting some weird stuff on Twitter, essentially just, he says repeatedly in the video that this is not what he's doing, but the implication is quite strong that he's accusing Toby Fox implicitly of plagiarism during the creation of the soundtrack to Undertale. There's a lot of very weak evidence that he presents. Very weak evidence. And then the thing that he really focuses in on the most is that the melody seems to be very similar to the melody of some other song. I straight up don't remember what it was, but there's two big problems to this. One, the band in question was at one point approached by fans who had noticed this, and they were like, oh, I mean, whatever. That kind of stuff happens all the time in music, and hey, if we were able to inspire him, then that's pretty cool too. And that's really all there was to that. On the flip side, Toby Fox had a Tumblr account where he basically blogged his game dev process for a very large portion of the development of Undertale, including the evolution of the theme in question. It was Undyne's theme, including how it evolved over time in a way where it's not necessarily very easy to describe if you don't understand like music, just kind of generally, but it evolved in a way where the odds of it being stolen from this song are basically zero. Like, it had a different identity, it got molded over time, and it became this thing. The only way that it would be stolen is if he just dropped in with this song. But loads of people dropped in and were like, hey, this is bullshit. These claims are stupid. They don't have merit. There's XYZ reason why they don't hold water, why they're not true. And eventually he did like kind of back down a bit from that whole thing. But he kept referring back to it. He was extremely spiteful about this. He seemed very, very bitter and spiteful about the public response, I guess, to his video. Overwhelmingly negative. Then you get around to the springtime, and yes, I agree. Showing your art process is an extremely easy way to prove that your work is your own. It's one of the big reasons that people do time lapse video of art they draw, so you can see how it all came together. Partly because it's proof, but also partly because it shows the process. And as I've been saying a lot more lately, especially in the era of AI dog shit garbage, the art is the process, not the product. So in some ways, that time-lapse video is a much more artistically valuable thing than the end result, you know? But so in the spring, so that's the thing. So in the spring, rather, before we get to the spring, over the winter, basically right at the new year, 2025, he already had a channel called Alex. So he's got Alex Yard / Alex Yard Zone, which is his main channel. But he also had Alex Yard Adventure, which was for more experimental stuff. Similar to on the D-pad, we don't have a second channel for it. We just have a series called D-pad Side Quests, and it's the same idea: experimental stuff that isn't really like Let's Play gameplay video stuff. Also, hello Pete. But so he has this second channel called Alex Yard Adventure. And in January, he starts, I think one of his first posts on there after a lot of inactivity was talking about Toby Fox and continuing that in the midst of all the other stuff that went down. And then shortly after, he starts making essentially drama content, like rage bait or rage bait adjacent drama content. And it would usually involve targeting other YouTubers, other musicians, or in some cases, literally other music theory YouTubers. It was very targeted. It seemed very weird. And at one point in the spring, he makes a video in March, actually, end of March. He makes a video called Why Sonic Mania's Music is So Amazing. I think this is on his main channel, not his second one. And it starts out, I have watched this video, and it starts out seeming pretty sincere, but eventually starts getting to the point where it gets into implications of like, you should really credit the people who are responsible for why this thing is so good. Like, it's very backhanded shit. And eventually, but like there are ways to read it as being non-negative, I suppose. Anyway, T. Lopes, either he saw the thing himself or someone pointed it out to him or whatever, I don't know what, commented on the video saying like, which has now become a copy pasta on Alex Yard's channel, essentially like, wow, what a great video. Here's to more positive content like this from you in the future. Which Alex did not take well. He basically responded being like, ha ha ha, I knew that if I posted this, you would comment, kind of thing. Very weird. shitloads of people responded in the comments going like, hey man, weird way to respond to him dropping in and saying hey. And he kept insisting that this was actually his way of showing how T. Lopes acts to other people type stuff. It's very fucking weird. He made a post saying, April Fools. That video was just there to make a statement of blah 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 blip blah. I wound up kind of confronting him on that, being like, "What do you mean? How? In what way is it an April Fool's thing? Why you keep saying that? Like, there's reasons that this is how you react with him and stuff, but you haven't really like explained what the deal is. Can you talk about this? What's going on?" And eventually he just blocked. The D-pad is fully blocked from commenting on Alex Yard's YouTube channel. So that was weird. And eventually he deleted the April Fool's post altogether. He might have deleted some of these videos, but I've downloaded all the relevant ones anyway, just because he's done this in the past, apparently. It sounds like he's got a grudge against him for two reasons. One, does this guy have a connection to the D-pad? No, none whatsoever. At one point I was a subscriber to his YouTube channel and I unsubscribed as stuff was going down. But he has no connection to us whatsoever. I get the closest connection is that he lives, he used to live closer. For the bulk of the time the D-pad has existed, he's probably lived all of like 10 miles away from us at most, from where the D-pad used to be. Which I didn't know until maybe a year ago, but so all this stuff is going on. It was already very weird, and then in May, out of nowhere, he tags Grant Kirkhope on Twitter and asks, "Hey, did you?" I'm trying to remember how he phrased it, but it was basically, did you ask for permission before you used Teddy Bear's Picnic as the basis for Gruntilda's Lair in Banjo-Kazooie? And he was basically like, I didn't use it as the basis for that, but okay, bye. And Alex was not happy with being kind of blown off like that. Which he's lucky he got a response at all, to be dead honest. But so as this was happening, he kind of kept making weird comments at Grant Kirkhope about essentially insinuating copyright infringement. So I did a little digging of my own. So Gruntilda's Lair is the dun 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 dun. Teddy Bear's Picnic by I think Jay Bratton is the dun 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 dun. And like they diverge extremely hard from there. But like, sure, similar, why not? And it wouldn't even necessarily surprise me if there was a direct reference or whatever, but the insinuation of copyright infringement gets a little silly because when you look up, so the history of copyright is kind of tangled. If you take everything by modern standards, which is 95 years after the creator's death, or 95 years after. It's not even that simple, but essentially, 95 years after creator's death, whatever, then yeah, that would mean that the Teddy Bear's Picnic composition would have been protected by copyright until like early 2000s, essentially, which is after Banjo-Kazooie came out. However, copyright has slowly been increasing over time. And, anything that is still valid gets grandfathered in, generally, not always. But anything that enters the public domain, once something enters the public domain, it is irreversible. It is permanent. You can't take something back from the public domain once it's entered. At the time, in I think the 60s or maybe the 50s, I forget when Grant Kirkhope was born. Let's put it this way: on Grant Kirkhope's first birthday, Teddy Bear's Picnic was public domain, just based off U.S. copyright law, which should be noted. The song was registered through the U.S. copyright system, so like 1965-ish, something like that. Teddy Bear's Picnic was public domain. So at that point, the whole conversation stops mattering. It does not matter. If you want to use the Star Spangled Banner as part of a music track for something, you can just use it. It's public domain. It can't belong to anyone. You can just use it. It's there. Teddy Bear's Picnic, you can just use it. And you don't have to credit anybody. It's public domain. It belongs to us all now. So I went and I pointed this out to him. I was like, hey, man, maybe you should have researched this before you started making public accusations, but this thing's been in the public domain for almost 60 years now. So what are we doing here? He didn't respond to it. He's never responded to that one. He has insinuated at other points that what he's really upset about is that there wasn't credit for it anywhere in the game's credits, which, one, not up to Grant Kirkhope to do the game's credits. He's not in charge of that. And two, no, you don't. You don't have to credit public domain works. You do not have to credit them. They're public domain. This is different from like Creative Commons license where you do have to credit something, but it is otherwise essentially free to use. But public domain, you don't have to say anything. Carnival Night Zone uses a piece of oh god, I'm gonna get it wrong. Nope, I had it. I was gonna say Ride of the Valkyries. That's totally wrong. I can't think of it. I was gonna say Clowns, but it's not that. But it's the that little. It's Carnival Night Zone uses a segment of that pretty much straight up. It's old enough that they don't have to say it ever. Entrance of the Gladiators. Thank you. Yes, that's the one. But yeah, you don't have to credit that. It's public domain. It's so old. but so all of this stuff is going on. And at one point he says, hey, because Grant at this point is basically saying that he's just going to block him if he doesn't knock it off, kind of thing. And he goes, hey, if you want, I can take all these tweets down. All you have to do is message me. Otherwise, I'm going to start writing. Which I and others responded with saying, hey, man, that kind of sounds like blackmail. Which he has insisted a lot. He never responds to the public domain bit about Teddy Bear's Picnic. He responds a lot to any mention of blackmail. He's insistent that he didn't blackmail him. He didn't threaten him. He didn't yada yada. Fun story. So we both live in the same state of the U.S., and I looked up our state's laws pertaining to blackmail, and it turns out that if you implicitly threaten someone's livelihood, and they use more terminology that essentially makes it clear that it would apply here, then yeah, that's blackmail. Like, Alex Yard might have broken the law with that tweet, you know? But yes, I'm just kind of giving the rundown of like what all of this shit has been. This is where I kind of like really dove in on this and was like, all right, maybe I'll start writing then, I guess. And it's been a long, sad roller coaster since then. Lot of videos that don't perform well. I have discovered a lot about Alex Yard that I both didn't really want to and would rather just not know. The more that I've learned about him, the more that I'm glad I've never encountered him in real life, because he seems like just a really unpleasant person to be around. His belief systems are fucked, and he's a really solipsistic, self-absorbed kind of dude at the end of the day. Most of the stuff that he does, he insists that he's doing because he should and that he has the right to, which, like, sure, I'm not going to hypothesize on anything about uh his mental state or anything, because I don't know him. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not in a position to even conjure a guess in that regard. But he's just kind of a prick outside of all that. He's everything that I've found of him, he's kind of a wormy, weaselly, transphobic libertarian dude. And he really doesn't like having to explain the I want to say consequences. That's not really correct, but like the implications, I guess, of the things that he believes in and espouses and publicly defends. He's made 2 separate videos defending, essentially not defending J.K. Rowling, but talking about why Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson are essentially bad people for fighting with J.K. Rowling. Strangely enough, he seems really uncomfortable discussing the viewpoints of J.K. Rowling that the two of them disagree so vehemently with, and that he is implicitly defending. But also, he's just been transphobic to people in his own community too. Like he's been a prick to people in his community, and he tried to use the death of a 17-year-old trans girl against a former mod of his. It's so disgusting. The whole thing is really fucked. And like, I've gone back and forth with it, because like there are people who have reached out who are like, hey, I hope this, essentially, kick his ass, Seabass. And I don't really want to, I really just don't know that I want to engage with any of it anymore. Literally one of the things that I wanted to stress at the very top of that video, if it were to get produced, was I don't like drama content. I don't want to produce it. I don't like it. And it sucks to be in it sucks to be in a position where I have to consider whether I am creating it or not. So I think I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna put something out. It's gonna be short and sweet. It's gonna get right to the point. It's gonna say the things that need saying, and then I'm walking away from it, because there's also a certain part of me that is like, I am 38 years old. It feels real fucking stupid for me at my age with my graying beard to be spending time writing a video about why some other dude who used to matter on YouTube shouldn't anymore. I don't know. Shit. Oh, damn it. It's fucking Mike. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back, folks. Give me 1 quick second here. And my favorite thing about my recording studio being as compactly put together as it is that when anything goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Mic stand refused to not fall over, knocked over a can of cranberry sprayed zero all onto the floor, onto the carpet, onto my PC. So that's going to be fun to deal with later. Sweet. Sorry about that. That's fucking annoying. I have a lap desk thing that sits next to me because I don't have space for a proper desk right now. I will, but it also means that reaching for shit to the side it's regardless. No, fortunately, my keyboard is off to the other side. My keyboard is fine. But, sticky keys IRL. Oh, Jesus, yeah. So anyway, that's clearly a sign from somewhere to move on from this, but I don't know. Dude also thrives on negative attention, so fuck him. That said, the big video is still happening. I'm trying to find ways to dig into that harder because it sat for an extremely long time, and I need to get it done. It's so huge and daunting, and it sucks because it is a large enough project that I'm just like anxious about being able to have the time to produce it at all, and I really have to at this point. I've been trying to make this thing happen for 2 years now, and it's crazy that much time has passed. But between buying a house, moving, losing a job, looking for jobs, getting job, doing job, time has not been very kind, and I'm trying to find the time to get it done. I'm hoping to have some kind of update on that soon. Not helped by the fact that it's going to make sense whenever it comes out, but a large portion of that was really reliant on being able to communicate with and contact people based off of posts on fucking Twitter. And like immediately after I started working on this and the project changed in scope, shit went ballistic and everybody started leaving Twitter, which was a good thing. Everybody should leave Twitter. And a bunch of shit started disappearing, and I captured as much info as I possibly could. And it's been difficult making sense of it since, just because there's so much volume. And actually, I'm going to look one thing up real quick because there was a recent development that sure made it seem like I needed to get back on this shit fast. Well, I don't have to get onto it too fast, but stuff that is going on is going on. I don't know. Would love to talk about it more, but I can't yet. I will when it's done. I'll have so much to say beyond the video when it's over. Oh, yeah. No. That's actually very relevant, I would say. The edit image thing on Twitter right now is fucking disgusting and fucked up. And it's so disrespectful to everybody. And I think that's going to be one of the last straws, really, with folks. Not that there haven't been 100 already, but that's going to complete one of the few bastions of like one of the last few clusters of people that was really hanging on there was the artist community, in the sense that there were people who had convinced themselves that staying on Twitter was going to help with reach, even though it's been proven about 1 billion times over that Blue Sky is just straight up like an order of magnitude better for reach than Twitter is. Uh, and I think this is going to kind of put the kibosh in that for good. Um, I can't imagine someone who doesn't already have an established base trying to cultivate one on a platform that incentivizes theft, because that's what it is. Uh, and yeah, I don't know what people are going to be sticking around there at this point. And that's beside the point that AI is also now involved and is going like, oh, you want to edit this image? Sure, we'll scrape that watermark off of there, because uh, uh, it's essentially running it through the thing and saying redraw this, knowing that the watermarks are usually subtle enough for the AI to ignore when they go and they essentially trace it, right? Whole thing's a fucking mess. But yeah, fuck Twitter. Fucking rip Twitter. It's amazing that this shit is still going on. It feels like it's been like a decade at this point of just a slow descent into bullshit. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So how's everybody doing? Now that I've spent 40 minutes, 45 minutes off in tangent land. Uh, man, it's going to be nice. I am actually looking forward to getting things back to normal in the new year. It feels like it's been like 3 straight months of uh, unique stuff going on. So it'll be good to get things back to normal. Christmas was fun. Pretty good. Nice. Nice. I was sick I was sick last weekend, and didn't wind up going to my mom's side of the family's Christmas stuff. We just got back from doing Christmas with Sarah's folks last night. On Sunday, we're going to do stuff with my dad's side of the family. Way more family than usual for Christmas for me. Oh, okay. All right. Got given Bravely Default for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to cracking into that. Nice, nice. I still need to play Bravely Default. Haven't played any of them, or either of them. I think it's, 2 and a remake or something? But yeah, I got to get into that. Someone needs to make I feel like the equivalent of 2000s, it's the 2000s, like, boner comedy poster template of white poster, red logo. I feel like you can do the same thing for just prestige aimed JRPGs or RPGs is just like white box, black serifed font, one word on top of the other. Bravely Default, Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler, that sort of thing. They called the third Bravely game Bravely Default 2. Nice. Perfect. Oh, God. But yeah, no, I don't have a lot to say on the. Usually, we have part of the Hangout is kind of going down the schedule, how things have been going, what's going on soon, various series. But most of the series have all kind of stopped at the end of the year here because stuff was getting crazy between Spooky Ween, Extra Life, Saturn Return, the grand finale. Way more events going on than we usually have on the channel all at the same time. They're all I guess that's fair. If they're all Square Enix, then like, yeah. Yeah, a lot of events going on, which we usually don't have, to be honest. Yeah, I think the grand finale ended right before the last one. Was it literally the same day? I think it might have been the same day. Or maybe we moved the Hangout a week. I'm trying to remember. It's all very blurry right now, but But yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm kind of gearing up and getting things situated so that either for New Year's next week or more likely for the 5th, we're going to be getting back into stuff. We got a lot of stuff to crack back into. It'll be good to do that. Doubly so because I don't have to make a brand new thumbnail every single time, which is always a bit of a task for these console plays. The VODs, we've been catching up on VODs. Been doing very well there. The only VODs that are outstanding at this point are the 90-minute Nails VODs from Hexen 2 forward, of which there's still about like 30 or so. But we have far fewer than we had when we started catching those back up. We have the Brawl VODs, which I may make a drink or two to go along with our movies tonight. We're going to be watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Christmas Vacation. Probably the two most seminal like holiday type 80s comedies of all. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles being one of about 3 Thanksgiving movies that exist in the first place. I think 2 of which are I was gonna say like, isn't Uncle Buck also kind of a Thanksgiving thing too? But I don't even remember. I think I'm just thinking John Candy in general. And then Christmas Vacation, which is just one of the best Christmas movies I've ever seen. I love it. And I may make a drink or two that I've been workshopping for those. So I actually have to film something for work this weekend. And this actually right now, what you guys are seeing right now is, assuming something doesn't go wrong with it, this is the last thing that I'm shooting on this tripod. Keeping the camera, but the tripod is going to go bye-bye. I've been using my Blackmagic 4K Pocket Cinema camera on a tripod that is straight up not built for that camera for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. It's a miracle I haven't broken more base plates. I've broken at least 1 or 2 just because it doesn't fit correctly. But I got a new tripod that is designed for it, so it's also thicker too. It's much sturdier, so that'll be really nice. But so I'm going to switch the tripods and then go upstairs with the camera to record stuff this weekend. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to record at least a couple drink videos, as well as the live intros for some stuff too. Should have a tripod that's worth more than like $20. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the tripod that I have was worth a lot more than that when it was new, which was more than a decade ago. Maybe more like 15 years ago, possibly closer to 20 years ago. It's definitely a tripod designed for like a classic DSLR camera. Hey, Clark. Hello. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Well, that is amazing synchronicity. It's not showing up in the thing over here, but Clark just dropped $20 in the chat, said always a brother. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. I could buy a whole tripod with that. I could buy this exact tripod with that money. Oh my god. But yeah, saluting the old tripod. It'll be nice to get on a tripod that is designed for. I am going to. That better be a 1/5 of the tripod or less. Yeah, the tripod that I bought. I can actually look this up because I ordered it fairly recently. How much did this go for? So this is a Benro KH25P video tripod with head, 11-pound payload, continuous pan drag, anti-rotation camera plate. Oh, amazing. You can't actually buy it on Amazon anymore. And I bought it a week and a half ago. Cost me a little over $200. With head, yeah. Happy holidays. Yeah, it's a $200 fucking tripod, but it is dense and good. And unfortunately, the one thing that I kind of wanted it to have that it doesn't have would have made it cost at least 2 or 3 times that, which is there's a fluid head, like a full fluid head that you can get that is essentially so. I'm sure you guys have seen anytime that we've adjusted the camera live, it kind of like it jerks, and that's just because it's two pieces of plastic, just kind of. It's like it's essentially taking plastic and treating them like your brakes on a car. You press them together, enough pressure, and they go, gah, okay, yep, we've turned, gah. Like it's not very smooth. A liquid head essentially it adds a ton of resistance to it, so that you just kind of like it. Yeah, exactly, friction fitting. Yeah, so it makes it so that you don't just gah. It just kind of all right. You pull, and it's a nice smooth movement, which less of an issue for stuff like this. But if I'm doing like live filming for intros for stuff. It can be very useful for slightly more dynamic shots. Not to mention, there's projects that I'm working on where I will want some motion. Just yeah. But I'm happy to have it. If for no other reason, then it'll have a base plate that fits correctly, and I don't have to. It doesn't have to be so weird. I'm gonna have to figure out angles. I still need to. One of these days, the dream is to like put a camera. So right now, the TV is that direction. I'm pointing at my own face on the TV. So the camera is right here. I want to put one kind of halfway between and up on the wall a little bit and just kind of point it down so that I can just have a semi-permanent, here's just a camera, and it's pointed at either me or the whole room or just the whole room and I crop it to me or whatever. But just being able to have something that I don't have to move around all the time because this shit is extremely in the way. And you'll notice that the angle is never quite the same every time we do stuff. So that's like a whole thing. I used to have a little webcam that sat on top of this monitor, but it was kind of a piece of shit, and it broke during the first 99-turn Mario Party game, and I didn't like the video quality of it in the first place. That was actually my second camera, my second webcam. I want to look into other webcams just because for streaming purposes, it might just be nice to have something different. But I also like, I mean, this is not the best example. I don't know if I can easily pull it out right now, but hang on one second. So these are Nanoleaf light panels. These are what I used to have up on the wall in front of my face at the old apartment. They would sit in kind of a pattern. There's 9 of them, and they would sit at like a 45-degree angle, like literally, essentially like I could basically tap it. So it's a good like 3 feet away, pointed directly down. It was great for light. It was great for adding stuff to a scene, especially when I was filming stuff near the desk. And I don't have that anymore, so I've always got a little bit. The lighting is not quite. I don't quite like what I'm doing with the lighting, and that's even with a ceiling light that is now color controlled too. So I want to figure out. I might get some like, what are they, T stands, C stands or whatever, but get some of those and like literally just attach these to them. I was actually thinking at one point about, all right, what if I take like a whiteboard and attach a bunch of these and then put it on like a little mini drafting table type thing and just shine it up at myself. Oh, thank you, Games Jake. Thank you. What Kirby games would we want to see adapted? That's an interesting thing. You mean like as an anime? I did see the video that you posted. That looked like a lot of fun. I think the most interesting stories from Kirby that would make sense to adapt. I think Kirby's Dream Land and Kirby's Adventure together would be interesting because Kirby's Adventure, I think, is a classic, but the rivalry of Kirby and Dedede doesn't make as much sense without the prelude of Kirby's Dream Land, giving it some context. Superstar I like a lot, but the stories are a little disparate, even if Mark's is pretty awesome. And yeah, Nightmare in Dreamland as well. Yep. Beyond that, I don't know. Planet Robobot could actually be kind of interesting given the stuff they have there. See some of those as background lighting in another YouTube channel and watch. Yeah, I've debated putting this in the background places. Problem is the camera's so close. There's so little space behind me in terms of like the back wall is about, I'd say 5 feet behind me. Most folks do not set up their streaming areas like this. We're very much doing it for efficiency's sake. Most folks would set their desk up like I would have my desk. So right now the back wall is about 5 feet away from me. The wall, the TV and the wall over there are like a good, 10 feet away from me. They would at least reverse that so that you could get more in the background to be visible. And I think that would assist a lot on getting more back there. I do have, it's so hard to see right now. You can just barely get like right there is the tip of, I have the D-pad neon light that Sarah got for me a few years ago that we've struggled to find a good spot for it that can be on camera because just the angles of things are just never super conducive to it. I've debated trying to put it up. We have a fireplace that goes right here that is rarely ever seen on camera, and it would look great there, but it's rarely seen on camera, so it doesn't really, this room is not very intuitively set up for this sort of thing, you know? Trying to get into a more comfortable seated position. I hate this couch. This is very much a leaning couch. It the seat itself is too long this way. Oh, god damn it. I hate this stupid. I don't know what happened, but at some point the YouTube chat feature on XSplit just broke entirely. So now once an hour I have to fucking reauthorize it. It's so goddamn annoying. All right, so that should be fixed as soon as the next thing comes in that should be visible again. It is literally, I think, every hour exactly. It's so goddamn irritating. But yeah, I don't know. I wanna figure out better lighting for this room, both for on camera and also for just existing in the room. It's a very dark room a lot of the time. I have to like blast. This thing is usually kicking out a lot of light just to make it feel less cavey. But I also don't know that I want to like dig into the electrics here. Also, at some point in a few years, we're planning to build an extension onto the house, and the studio will move for what will probably be the final time, about 40 feet that way, and it will take over what is currently the garage. If I won the Powerball, could have built a whole D-pad house on our property. It would have been great. Nothing is as poisonous as the conversation that starts with, "Man, what if we won the lottery?" Just puts you into a bad place because you start thinking about it and then you get disappointed when it inevitably doesn't happen. It's been being built at my place of work for many months now. Yeah. Yep. Someone did finally win the Powerball. Christmas Eve, they won the Powerball. How crazy is that? 11 p.m. Eastern, Christmas Eve, they won. And it was a singular winner, as far as I'm aware. $1.87 billion. Fucking nuts. Like, even after taxes, that is basically $1 billion. Insane. An impossible amount of money. Sarah and I did the math at various points about, like, okay, what, like, just for the sake of humoring ourselves, all right, if we won $500,000, we pay off the house, I pay off my student loans, and then we just kind of reset from there. Cool. All right, like $1 million means we do that, we go on a really nice vacation, and we put the rest into savings. Okay, cool. Like $2 million, we go on a really nice vacation, and we bring a bunch of our friends on a really nice vacation, and maybe I put a bunch of that into some trust funds for my nephew and nieces, so that they have like college, tuition taken care of if they want to do college, and we put the rest in a savings. $5 million. Oh, maybe then we like don't even start at that point. Maybe we don't worry about work so much, or maybe we don't worry about work at all, et cetera, et cetera. Once we get past $5 to $10 million, it's like I don't know what we would do with that kind of money anymore. There's a plan in mind for up to 5 or so. After that, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, if we won $1 billion, I think we would have some nice things to give out. We'll say. Shame that amount of money will suddenly turn that person into CEO that hates human individuality. Unfortunately, yeah, that's the biggest thing. First of all, this is just free advice from me to you, not having won any lotteries myself. I had a neighbor who won the lottery. My understanding, I was kind of young, literally 2 houses up the street from us. My understanding is that they stayed pretty humble with it, which is very cool. You want that. When they ask you bulk sum or monthly, I forget if it's monthly or annual payouts, never, ever, ever take the lump sum. Never, do not do it ever. There's a ton of reasons for it, some practical, some less practical. Most obvious one is they will tax you like fucking crazy, and they take a much bigger chunk of it away from you if you do that. And also, nobody who does not already have that kind of money has a clue what to do with that kind of money if it's suddenly handed to them, and you will burn through so much more of it than you even realize is possible. The correct answer is to take the monthly payouts. You put stuff into savings. You put stuff into index funds. You basically give yourself an allowance of whatever you need to survive, plus, spending cash and bonus stuff, and you let the rest sit in a fucking account, and you don't touch it. You don't do shit with it. And even if you do shit with it, if you want a huge, huge jackpot, the amount you get per month is more than you could think to spend in the month anyway. You do not need the lump sum. Ever, ever, ever. If I won $700 million, we could do it. We could do a cruise, a la Yoko Cruise. The whole Discord could come included. What is Yoko Cruise? I don't know what that is. But yes, I think if the D-pad suddenly came into possession of the better part of $1 billion, it'd be very easy to justify some kind of crazy. Oh, Jonathan Colton, nice. We could justify some kind of crazy thing for that. Pay people's way to come and do a thing. That's the other big thing. Don't just. You never want to be someone who plays the lottery as a present tense. Never be that. I probably do it too much, and I restrict myself to if it happens to be near or over $1 billion and it happens to cross my mind, I'll buy like a set of 10, which is $20 or 30 with the power play, which basically just multiplies if you get a lower jackpot. But that'll be it. And I did this twice with the current set, like a week and a half apart. Where it was like, oh, I spent 20 and then I spent 30, and then I was like, well, all right, that's it. I mean, I took my shot. I can't be blowing this cash on odds that are so low that you're likelier to be struck by lightning while being eaten by a shark. Like, the odds are functionally zero in terms of lotteries. I've had comically low odds things happen on this channel many times, and the odds of all of those things happening is still generally less than the odds of winning the lottery. The numbers being as small as they are very deceptive, and that's on purpose. It's the same reason a deck of cards, only 52 cards, but there are more permutations of a deck shuffle than there are, than there are atoms in the universe. And similarly, I believe it's more than there have been seconds since the Big Bang. Like, a deck of cards is one of the most mathematically complex things that we have. just an absurd amount of permutations. Yeah, no, my I generally don't. If I'm given scratch tickets as a gift, I'll play them because I'm not just going to throw those away. And if you know, again, if the prize is crazy huge, and I got $30 I'm fine with parting with, then I'll do it then. But I'm certainly not. There are people who literally 2-3 times a week will go and buy lottery tickets. It's like, man, that is not the way to do that shit. Let's see. So a deck of cards. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 122. So yeah, the number of permutations of a deck of cards is about 80 followed by 8 followed by 67 zeros. It'd be 80 million 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 million. Just a number that seems like it's not even comprehensible. Let's see. Let's see. The Big Bang was about 13.787 billion years ago. Oh yeah, it's not even remotely. The number of seconds since the Big Bang is about 3 followed by 16 zeros. So if you were to tally every second that the universe has been around, you get to the end of it, you start over and you mark a 1, and then you keep going until you have a mark for every second of the universe. And then you reset that and make a second and make a 2, and then fill all of those out with 2s. You erase those and make a 3 that's full of 2s, that's full of 1s, that's full of seconds. By the time all of those 3s are full, you still have not actually accounted for all of the ways you can shuffle a deck of cards. That shit is weird. Okay, I was wrong about one thing. The number of atoms in the universe is considered to be approximately a 1 followed by 80 zeros. So there are more atoms in the universe, probably. So there's a big, variance on there. But just shy of 10 to the 68 versus 10 to the 80. Comparable. There are almost as many ways to shuffle a deck of cards as there are atoms in the universe. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, yep. Just catching up with what Pete's saying there. Talking about a deck of cards just brings me back to the really weird stuff happening in Virtual Casino. Oh, man. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, actually, that was such an odd... I think that my intuition on that was correct, which is it sounds like they have a sequential bank of voice lines, and something in the game was broken and making it be that it would read more than one of those in a row. Like it seemed like it was reading like 3 to 5 of them in a row. And yeah, it could be that that's just the Polymega interpreting it poorly. It could be, yeah, I don't know. There's something weird that was going on with that I'm not really sure what the deal was. Sarah's headed off to feed our friend's cats down the road. They're off for the weekend, so we're taking care of their cats. But yeah, that was such an odd thing there, and like, man, I really did want to see what else the game had to offer, but like, it was exactly like Casino Kid all over again, where it's like, oh, you have to win a whole bunch of games of poker in order to advance. I think even with, because we got 3 at a time, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so you get 5 opportunities to bet. I would have to win 10 max bet hands in a row in order to clear that. Or more likely, just like 100 goddamn hands of poker. That was going to take forever. I cut it off when I did, and I'm just like, man, I was hoping we could clear it. We got to the halfway point twice, and I was like, I don't think this is worth digging into much further. But that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, Saturn Return has been interesting. I feel bad because I feel like I don't have as much to say in an analytical review type way for a lot of these games. I think part of it is because most of these games are fine. There's not a lot of like standout hits, and there's not a lot of like garbage in there. There's been a few that have been real rough around the edges, but there's not a lot of like junk, you know? And I think that does tend to help, grease the wheels a little bit if a game is busted or unfun or what have you. So it does make it a little bit difficult at times to get into it, or for a game that's like a classic. We've had a few that have been solid. I actually quite liked Shinobi Legions. That was pretty cool. Magic Knight Rayearth was also actually a lot of fun. There's a part of me that's like, ooh, I would love to check that out some more. And there's been a bunch that have been like, I don't really care for this too much. But like, it's not a lot to chew on. And I think in some ways I feel like in some ways I've been chasing the ghost of Uya Ono for a while. Because that was like the golden goose. That one was like almost uniformly garbage, which made it lots of fun. It's the same reason I used to watch Commander Sterling's Steam Greenlight series, because they would cover a lot of these Steam Greenlight games that were either unfinished or were abandoned or whatever. And there's something about a game that is just not well made that is a lot of fun to dig into. I don't know. To the Zebo. Zebo sounds familiar. Also, yeah, Shining the Holy Ark. Let's see. Shining the Holy Ark was the first person one, right? Yes. Yeah, that one was all right. That one was pretty cool. I think my biggest gripe with that game is that it feels a little slow to play. Like it's just a little sluggish, but otherwise that one was pretty cool. I think the first person perspective would start to get a little headachy after a while, but comparatively, I guess Shining Wisdom was also at least a little interesting too. I don't know there. I only know about it from Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Nice. Stop Skeletons is a cool place to be. Zebo. Discontinued home entertainment and education system from Zebo Inc. Targeted developing markets such as Brazil and Mexico. Okay, so we're looking at like a there were some decent sized companies that got on this. I was gonna say we're looking at like a Pico style thing here maybe, but Oh, Jesus. There's a version of Resident Evil 4 on this? What the fuck? Crash Bandicoot? What the hell? Double Dragon? Karnov's Revenge? Pac-Mania? Peggle? What the fuck? Resident Evil 4 Zeebo Edition. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, they got Street Slam. Oh my god, Jeff might actually shit. Street Slam / Street Hoop / Dunk Dream. Huh. Well, this might be something we take a look at some point. Shining the Darkness on Genesis, definitely night and day in terms of presentation and swiftness. Imagine needing an item or spell to see the map at all. Ew. I mean, granted, I grew up with the original Dragon Quest back when it was Dragon Warrior, where you had to walk up to stairs, press A, and then select stairs to walk down the stairs. Dunk Dream sounds like a Bostonian before their coffee. Oh, God. Which reminds me, there was a video that I saw the other day of Kevin Smith and someone. I don't know who the woman was. I think he's still with Jen Schwalbach, but I'm not sure. And they were talking with Ben Affleck, and they gave him some of their, like, they own a company that does like food stuff now, and they had him try their like hummus, and he was like, "Oh, that's actually really, really good. That's actually surprisingly good. Yeah, huh." And like fucking around is like, you're just like, it's like, you're just saying that because you're my friend. He's like, of course I am. What the fuck? What do you think I'm gonna come on here and say this tastes like shit? Come on, man. What the hell are you thinking? And he's like, okay, well after this we'll get him some dunks. He's like, oh, you got dunks? And it's like, oh my god. Ben Affleck just leaning right into the meme at this point. Brazil gets and keeps the weirdest game consoles. Absolutely. It blows my mind. Tectoy still makes the Master System in 2025 in Brazil. That console is 40 years old. October 20th, 1985, it came out in Japan. In Brazil, it came out in September of 1989. And Tectoy still makes it. Let's see here. Where is it in here? Oh my god, wait, they also made... Tectoy partnered with Qualcomm to release the Zeebo in 2009. Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to see... Yeah, the Master System does not technically have a discontinued date because it's still being made. Fucking unreal. I hope that they have a goddamn party in 2029 when the Master System can celebrate 40 years of continuous production in Brazil. Now, granted, they haven't sold many. They've only sold about 8 million. But considering the original Master System, not in Brazil, sold about 10 to 13 million units, Brazil doing that all by itself is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, wild stuff. God damn. If I ever found myself in Brazil, I would have to find myself a Master System. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Master System is, well, depending on which country you're referring to, either older or younger than me by just a little bit. Oh, man. I don't know what I'm going to do for future holiday series. I feel like the dedicated micro console era is mostly behind us at this point. Like the NES Classic, Super Nintendo Classic, that whole thing. I'm still kind of waiting for a Dreamcast Classic, to be honest. I could not. It's true, but it's become such a piece of the channel at this point of just like the thing that I don't know. I'd feel bad walking away from it. I actually have a blast with it. By the end, I'm usually stressed out because there's so much stuff, but like I do enjoy it, you know. Mini with the unreleased Kirby GameCube game, that would be a dream. Yeah, the one that ultimately became oh god, wait a minute, I'm trying to remember now. Because there was the one that was on like the checkerboard situation. I guess Kirby Blowout Blast, sort of. And yeah, I guess Return to Dreamland was what it really wound up becoming more directly. Care to list 12 games for a 12 days Christmas style thing? We did do. That's actually it's one of the first things we ever did on the channel. We had a series called The 12 Games of Christmas, and they were 12 randomly selected games on the Ouya. And we played those, and that was how we discovered Towerfall, and it's how we discovered It'll Do. And it was how we discovered a rare Terry Kavanagh game where you play a Doom clone, and when you fire an RPG launcher, it launches an RPG in which you play as, apparently, James Joyce reading out loud his absolutely rancid, filthy love letters, lust letters, whatever you want to call them, that he used to write. James Joyce was a disgusting motherfucker. He knew what he wanted and he went for it, goddammit. Kick Day did not come from the 12 Games of Christmas. That came from The Fright Before Christmas. That was when we played a collection of horror-based games between Halloween and Christmas. That was one of the first series we had that just kind of like crumbled in our hands a little bit. Because that was one where we just kind of we sort of were losing steam as we went through, because we discovered that the games we chose were not the best choices. We were losing steam with Five Nights at Freddy's, and at this point we're not covering Five Nights at Freddy's anymore, so that's a thoroughly dead thing. Somehow I think the highlight of the entire thing was Shadowgate, an NES point-and-click adventure game. And that's not a great sign. I remember being jazzed for Gods Will Be Watching, and then that turned out to be a really esoteric, messy game experience. You ask about the entire CDI series. Yeah, I was looking at that at one point too. The CDI has kind of a lot of games, actually. More than I realized. 'Cause I did go and look at this. Yeah, the CDI has... Well, I don't know if it's... I think it's including games and multimedia, but they list 207 games on the CDI. And, like, granted, it could be curated in a sense where it's like, all right, only games that are in English are valid. That would knock a bunch of them out, because there's a decent amount of ones meant for France and Germany. And Belgium, presumably. But it's still a shitload. There's a shitload of those. So CDI is maybe not... I don't know. CDI may have something going on down the line. Also, the CDI is a big fucking pain in the ass to get running in the first place. I bought 2 of them because one of them didn't work. And when I thought about it, I went back and I looked. I was like, this sounds familiar. So James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, back in the day also covered the CDI. He had to buy 4 of them before he got a CDI that actually worked. Those things were not well built. So it'd be a difficult task to get those going, but I don't know. We'll see. What I really should do is take a look. So Final Biscuit has been incredible in making the D-pad wiki a beautiful and fleshed out place. dpad.fm/wiki. Highly recommend. I think actually, as we get into the new year, before we hit the 15th anniversary, I think I want to buy dpad.wiki, the domain, in order to simplify that a little bit. I think it'll just be a mirror. I don't think it's going to actually like copy anything over, but do a month of requests one game per person. I've thought about doing that too, actually. The biggest trick there is obtaining all of these things, because then that starts to add up money-wise. But if they are things that, happened over a long enough period of time and then came in near the end, that'd be doable. That was part of the idea for the grand finale. About half of those games were ones that had been requested for years. It was a fun series, actually. I had a blast with that. It was fun planning it. Most of our series are like, all right, planning is just sort of a necessary part, but that was one that was actually kind of fun to plan. It was not fun to execute on. Timing-wise, not ideal. We did our best, and we came up with, I think, at least 9 very good videos out of 11. I think we did an all right job making that happen. But yeah, one of the things actually that I would like to do, it's been something that I have been sadly forgetting to do for the sake of the channel, which is promote. We have a PO box. We have a PO box. And we had a PO box back when we lived near Boston, and then I took that down as we were moving, and then as we got one set up, we have a PO box. You can mail us anything that is legal to mail. The D-pad, PO Box 5. Literally, it's a 1-digit number, 5. Spencer, Mass. And if there are games that people want us to cover, if you're comfortable with sending them, then feel free to send any games. Feel free to send any just silly shit that you want to send us, anything at all. If the PO box winds up getting used enough, maybe we'll do like mailbox segments or something. I don't know. Use code DPAD5. Yeah, actually keep an eye out as well, because the merch store is getting a grand reopening over the next week sometime. I'm gonna put up a bunch of new designs and things, mostly to do with projects we've been doing lately, and there's going to be a discount code going along with that as well. So yeah, let's take over my series on DVD. Hell yeah. By all means, I would love to see it. Should my game over? You guys cover at least part of it static? Yeah, absolutely. If there's anything like that, then by all means send it. I'd love to check it out. We request a game in the suggestion box shortly as the stream started, because it's a game I'm thinking of. Oh, as this stream started tonight? Oh, I see it actually. Oh, have I heard of this? I might have heard of this. I'm not sure. Whoop. Oh, I have heard of this, because I was fascinated by the trailer that they put out, whereas like everything is part of the actual game. Yeah, no, this looks fucking amazing. And I would absolutely love to check this out. I might find an excuse to just do this at the start of the year sometime, because this feels extremely rhythm heavy, and I am all about rhythm type games along those lines. Honestly, I've been wanting to do a Rhythm Heaven series for a little bit. And actually, when does Rhythm Heaven Groove come out? Because okay, we don't have a date for it yet. I think when we have a date for Rhythm Heaven Groove, I'm going to do a Screwy Let's Play style series for that, because I love the Rhythm Heaven games, and I would love to have an excuse to do that. It's Skip a poster, just the opening of the series. I think it was just the opening of the series. I don't think I saw the clip. If there was a clip that was not like trailer style. Early access forever and came into 1.0 early this month. Hey, nice. Not sure which is still stuck between either silly game idea or silly idea game or serious series let's play of an equally silly game. Ooh, okay, all right. Probably because the PO box since I sent you the Wave Command Code book, but now they announced the Star Force collection. I'm waiting to hear if they undo. Oh yeah, I've been kind of curious about that too, actually. And funny enough, I just stumbled across where I put the book recently too. It's in the other room with some of my where do I put this paper and book type stuff, and it's like right where I put my laptop when I have like work meetings. Even blended the Wario. That's true actually too. WarioWare is like game design genetically cousins with Rhythm Heaven for sure, and Rhythm Doctor as well. But yeah, no, I need to be a little bit better about posting. Are they the same company? That's a good question, actually. Well, WarioWare, because WarioWare is Nintendo EAD, isn't it? Oh, it was. So it started at Nintendo R&D, then it went to Intelligent Systems, spent some time with Nintendo SPD, went with Tosei, Rhythm Heaven, or the Rhythm Tengoku series, Nintendo SPD. Also, now it's Nintendo EPD. So it's moved over for Groove, I guess. But yeah, so SPD handled both of those at the same time. Moving from software planning and development to entertainment planning and development. Started with WarioWare Twisted, WarioWare Touched, and then a few years later, Rhythm Tengoku and WarioWare Smooth Moves in the same year. Interesting. Oh, and then a year before they did Rhythm Heaven Fever, they did Metroid Other M. Jesus Christ. And we did Game & Wario for the Ultimate Wii U as well. I will say, you know what? I feel like most of the console play series that we've done have been chasing Uya Ono, but I feel like the Ultimate Wii U was actually pretty fucking good. It's the best I've felt about one of these console series in a while. I don't know if it's because it had like a nicely produced trailer that a lot of people saw, or it just like felt a little sharper. It was very easy to record. That helps a lot. Not having to worry about technical limitations is always a nice bonus. Let's see. Yeah, console plays. We have the 12 Games of Christmas, which was sort of an Ouya console play. Full Steam Ahead, which was all of like, I don't know, 2 games? 3 games. Mushihime-sama, Lethal RPG War, and Quiplash back in 2015, 2016. Then we started taking it more seriously. We had the Super NES Classic, NES Classic, Ouya Ono, Sega Genesis Mini, PlayStation Classic, the Complete 32X, which we will redo one of these days because I was very displeased with how that one came out. No one's fault but my own. I put the Sega Genesis Mini through too much. It was not technically capable of handling the stuff we were throwing at it. So one of these days we will do that properly. We will come back around to that again. Yeah, we played Dr. Luigi. I'm a big Dr. Mario fan. Dr. Luigi was rough. That game was rough. It felt like a Flash version of Dr. Mario. I didn't really care for it. Yeah, Sega Genesis Mini 2, Ultimate Wii U, and then Saturn Return. Yeah. But so what I was gonna say is something that I really should do is take a look at. We have there's a consoles footer that shows up on any pages that are the page for a given game console, and it's got all of the consoles that we've touched listed in there. And I should really take a look at some of these and be like, what's missing from this list? Like, what have we never touched? And also, what are ones we've barely touched? Like the Wonder Swan Color. I don't know, the N-Gage. There's some room to do some stuff here. I don't know. the Gamecom. I think the Gamecom was one I was actually looking at a little more intently because our two experiences with the Gamecom are so wildly different from one another. Because I want to say we did Sonic Jam for the Gamecom first, and that is garbage. That shit is shit. It is bad. It is crazy how bad Sonic Jam for Gamecom is. And then we did Resident Evil 2 for the Gamecom, and that shit was actually quite good. We were actually having legit fun with it, which was a problem because the point of that video was to be an April Fool's joke. It was an April Fool's joke as we were going into Resident Evil 2 remake. And it turned out we were actually just enjoying ourselves, and we're like, "Oh, all right. It's a shame that we're going to be walking away from this forever soon." So maybe that's a thing that we come around to at some point. I don't know. But always down for more suggestions, always down for more ideas. Whether it's stuff that gets shipped to us, which if something gets shipped to us, we will do something with it. I can promise you that. But even just ideas, we have the suggestion box channel on the Discord. At the end of every year, I like to go back and tell myself, I should really clean up the Discord because we have a lot of channels, and I feel like sometimes we may have too many of them, which is hilarious because I've been on Discord servers that have straight up double or more the number of channels that we do. So maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know. Have you ever been televisioned? I don't think we've ever covered a television on the channel. I would want to get my hands on an actual hardware and television. I certainly don't want anything to do with the Intellivision Amico. I don't want anything to do with Tommy Tallarico or Sammy Salazar, I think is his new alias. Videos to do already in the hundreds, but Rick would like it to be in the thousands, so lots of ideas. Always. I love hashing out ideas. I wanted to actually, not even I wanted to. I have been spending more time. I've had a really intense video in mind for about a year or two now, inspired by a video someone else has made, but their methodology for doing it bothered me. And it's not a call out to them. The way that they handled it is fine, but it is an inherently slightly flawed way of doing it. And so my thought process on this thing was, all right, I want to do this and I want to do it correctly. I still have Kid Bash for my recommendation. Kid Bash I have in mind. Do not you worry about that. That has been accounted for. Our channel is that they could get better organized by threads, but nobody wants to use threads. Yeah. I've had times where I've tried to push the threads a little bit, and it doesn't really take too much. We even have a discussion board channel that is full of threads, and I feel like most of them don't get a lot of activity. I don't know. I don't know what the best way to organize this stuff is. I don't really know. There's a little part of me that is like, man, part of me would love to go back to fucking BBC or BB Code forums or something. But that is me just being wistfully nostalgic for simpler times during shitty, complicated times. Oh, God. Sorry, I got an email from JetBlue. Important updates to our partnership with Japan Airlines. And it's like, okay, all right. Neat, I guess. Oh, man. But, oh, yeah. Millennials said there's very little that I feel like millennials properly have that is pretty exclusive to millennials that doesn't involve Gen X or Gen Z. I feel like BB Code forums is a pretty slam dunk. Nobody older or younger than us touched any of that shit, nor should they. Like they sufficed, but they weren't great. Like The Tom Zito series. Ooh. Let's see what we got here. See, Amalgamated Game and Token. Oh, Digital Pictures. I was like, I recognize that name. Right. This is one of the dudes. These are basically all the FMV games for the Sega CD. Oh, what order is that? Is this alphabetical? Oh my god. Citizen X is a game that got released for the Sega CD in 2002 for some fucking reason. Corpse Killer. See, the biggest problem is we've played a good chunk of these by now. We've played Corpse Killer. We've played, I think, did we play Maximum Surge? Yes, we did play Maximum Surge. But how did we play it? Because I know that we watched Game Over, which is the film version of it. Oh, Maximum Surge. Oh, okay. Game Over contained a bunch of pieces. Maximum Surge is where Walter Koenig's character comes from. We played Corpse Killer. We played, I don't know if we played Prize Fighter. We might have. We played Supreme Warrior. Those are all part of Game Over. We played Night Trap. I think we played Sewer Shark. And we played Slam City with Scottie Pippen. So maybe like a third or so of those. We have done a bunch of them. The movie, Maximum Surge was... Yeah, wait. So... Yeah, Maximum Surge was canceled. It's so funny because it listed as having... Oh, yeah, I see the NA there. But it has the 4 platforms listed. The movie was released, though. Game Over was actually released. Got released in June of 2003. Yeah, I would love weird, like, strung together series to do at some point. Ones that are a little bit less obvious. Not in the realm of games themselves, but I've wanted to do a series of like reaction style or scripted reviews of video game movies, going back to Super Mario Brothers. But even smaller and more approachable than that, I would love to do a D-pad and chill series of Uwe Boll's movies. Uwe Boll has made some absolute fucking trash of video game film adaptations. House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain, and In the Name of the King. 4 back-to-back ones. Blood Rain 2 Deliverance, Postal, Alone in the Dark 2, Far Cry. He put out a movie called Rampage, not based on the video game Rampage, not to be confused with the movie Rampage that is based on the video game Rampage. Blood Rain the Third Reich, In the Name of the King 2, Two Worlds. In the Name of the King 3, The Last Mission. And then he stopped making video game movies. Yes, we do have to get through the rest of Neil Breen's sexology, especially now that it's about to be a sexology +1. I believe he has put out a trailer for his 7th movie. I have not watched the trailer yet, but it is in production as we speak. I love the way the lighting looks right now. It looks like my lips are blue, and it's just because there's a pink light over there, which means I've got like purple and blue and green. So it's all these like blue area hues. Whereas right there it looks fine. Wasn't Uwe Boll doing a producers and the law in Germany that made it work got changed? Entirely possible. I don't know too much about that. It wouldn't surprise me, though. Would not surprise me. Thoughts on the new Street Fighter movie trailer? Very mixed bag of emotions there. Some parts of it look interesting. It looks rough in other ways, and not in ways that are very charming in the style of, like, its 1990s counterpart. I think it's going to do okay at the box office. I don't think it's going to get reviewed amazingly well. I think is what we're going to end up with in the end. But actually, two things. One, feel free anytime to throw stuff into the suggestion box in our Discord. I do read all of those, and I do try to take stock of those and come up with ideas based off of what people put in there. So if you've got fun ideas, stuff that you think we haven't thought of, by all means, throw stuff in there, and we'll see if we can make something happen. Two, so every month we have our community night, which after we wrap up here, I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to get set up to do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Christmas Vacation back-to-back in our D-Pad and Chill and You channel on the Discord. And prior to those, we always have some kind of a poll that lets our $10 Patreon or $10 patrons vote to decide what the community night is. One, I'm trying to decide whether the community night in general should be. It's technically supposed to be just the $10 patrons and above that are present for it. I'm trying to decide whether that should be open to everyone, but the decision to do. Like the decision, like the poll is controlled by the $10 folks that are up. I'm not really sure there, but at the very least, the poll is going to. I'm going to start adding a thing where the poll is based off of stuff that people post in the Patreon channel on the Discord, and if anyone has an idea for something that's not on the poll, they can add it in the comments. And if that comment gets more likes than the rest of the poll, then we will do that instead of anything that's in the poll. Not a big fan of the tone. Plus, it is a legendary movie, and going off of Detective Pikachu, not sure how the tone will be. Yeah. Detective Pikachu was an interesting one. Hilariously, I fucking bobbed that one pretty early. Not that there are times where I'm like, hell yes, I called that shit. But this was one where I'm like, I called it, but I was like, this feels a little predictable. Not like obvious, but it's like, this isn't a shot in the dark the same way Bob was. Planet Bob was such a crazy shot in the dark that there would have been no way to draw a logical conclusion there. This one was one where I'm like, I feel like that's at least they're leaning into it enough right at the top. I bet there's something there. But yeah, I'm going to add that as a feature of those polls such that if people think of stuff, because I have a difficult time making those polls because I do tend to ask folks what they want in there to add to it, and there's usually not understanding foreshadowing is not bobbing it. Yeah, exactly. Yes, correct. But folks usually don't necessarily have ideas that come to mind during that period, so I don't have anything to add there. So I want to make it so that people can add it essentially as any time that the poll is up. And that should at least help new stuff come in. Also, if comments wind up getting a bunch of likes but not win, then it can just become part of the poll going forward, you know? Cool. Okay. I think we should probably call it there. I don't want to start these movies too late. It's going to be around 3 hours and 20 minutes, I want to say. So I don't want to wait too long. I'm probably going to just pop upstairs, chat with Sarah for a little bit. Might make a snack. I don't know. I'm hoping to get us started around 10 past. Again, it'll be in the D-Pad and Chill and You channel on Discord. And we'll watch our 2 movies. It'll be a good time. It'll be a very cozy night, which is great because I don't know if it's actually, it seems super fucking obvious. You can see these bags going on down here. This looks rough. I'm very tired today. So it'll be good. It'll be nice and cozy for that. So, okay. I'm going to get that going. Thank you guys very much for an amazing 2025. This year has been interesting. There's been a lot of good and there's been a lot of not good. I still feel a little bit like guarded emotionally about some of the good things that have happened in 2025. I've got the new job, which is great because I spent 2 years trying to find full-time employment while freelancing for about a year of it, and that was an extremely difficult thing to be going through. And I'm so grateful to the folks who reached out to me, and now I'm working with them. And also just, I don't know, there's been a lot of just general, like, residual low-level stress kind of throughout. I think I haven't had a chance to really breathe since then because there's been so much stuff happening. And I'm looking forward to the start of the year when I get a chance to actually exhale a little bit more because there's just been a lot going on. I'm very excited for some of the plans I have for 2026. I've got at least 3 pretty big things in motion right now. One will be happening sometime in the spring. One I think will be happening in the summer, and another will be happening in the fall. I am hoping that they live up to my hopes for them. I wouldn't say expectations. My expectations are lower, but I'm hoping for better than what I'm expecting, you know? We got some cool stuff in there, though. And then there's some fun side projects that I've barely even scratched the surface of, which I think are going to be really fun when they're done. So, yeah. Looking forward to 2026. I think it'll be good to put this year in the rearview mirror in a lot of ways. And it'll be my last full year, my last full calendar year in my 30s. That's a lot to think about. That's kind of tricky. And we're going to have the D-Pad's 15th anniversary as well in April. So look forward to that. April 3rd to 4th. It's a Friday into a Saturday. We're going to have a big thing. I don't want to send my game in, but a Japanese-only HD remaster exists. Would you prefer my game or just telling you about what to emulate the translated patch? Ooh, what system is the game for? Because depending on that, I may be able to patch it hardware-wise as well. Oh, are you saying? Oh, you're saying that the non HD remaster is also English? I would say the 3DS one is fine. We actually have DS and 3DS hardware recording solutions. A 3DS game is completely fine. That is absolutely okay. Oh, I'm actually wondering if it is something that I think it is. No, it is not. Okay. There was something that was making a little bit of news recently that I was like, ooh, if this is what I think it is, it's something that I was kind of interested in already. But that is cool. But yeah, no, I'd be down for that. 3DS is totally fine. In some ways, DS and 3DS are great because I have a means nowadays of, one, recording it in great quality and also exporting it in extremely crisp, pixel perfect format, which is wonderful. And there's some fun news related to that coming pretty soon as well. Sometime next year. I don't know when. I've been tinkering with some stuff, but all right, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll see you guys on the Discord shortly. And thank you, everybody, for putting up with a really chaotic 2025. And hopefully we can, like, get back into the swing of things properly for 2026. So I'll see ya in a little bit. Bye-bye.